Welcome back to another edition of High Five. I, as always, am your host, the one, the only, the second Irish Bandit. Today, starting today and going for a few episodes at least. I don't know how many, but they're definitely going to go into October. I'm starting 5 movies you should watch before you die, and they're going to all have a different theme. It's going to be a different genre. Or in this case, it's going to be from a different director. Today, we're going to look at one of my all-time favorite comedy directors. The man has an eye for comedy. Well, when he was paired up with Rob Reiner, of course, doing the Thousand-Year-Old Man bit. He has just done so many great parodies, so many great movies, so many great comedies. He is a legend in cinema, in filmmaking. Wonderful director, wonderful actor. We're talking about the great Mel Brooks. He's one of my favorite comedy directors and one of my favorite directors altogether. He's had just a string of fantastic comedy movies, and we're going to be singling out 5 of them today. These are 5 Mel Brooks movies you should watch before you die, and this first one we're going to talk about, this one really put him in the mainstream. It is from 1974, I do believe. From 1974, if you take a look at this movie, this is a movie that cannot be remade in this day and age of political correctness. This is just a fantastic movie, and it is called Blazing Saddles. Okay, before we talk about Blazing Saddles, I know there's going to be a ton of comments mentioning this. I just want to say right off the bat, sometimes my brain thinks one thing and my mouth says something completely different. It's not Rob Reiner, it's his father, Carl Reiner, that Mel Brooks teamed up with all those years for the Thousand-Year-Old Man bit. So that's my bad. My brain and my mouth just were thinking 2 different things. Alright, well anyway, let's talk about Blazing Saddles. Like I said, you cannot make this movie in this day and age in 2017 with all the racial jokes in it. You have just a great cast. You have Cleavon Little, Gene Wilder, Slim Pickens, David Helson, who passed away recently. David Helson was also in The Big Lebowski. You have Mel Brooks. He's also in it. Harvey Korman, Madeline Kahn. Just a who's who of comedy in this. It was screenplay by Mel Brooks, Norman Sternberg, Andrew Bergman, Richard Pryor, Alan Unger. Andrew Bergman did the original story for it. It was funny because you have Richard Pryor, comedy legend Richard Pryor, in this movie, writing for this movie, and he did most of the parts for Mongo. That's all he did, and if you have someone like him who's okay with it, with all the racial jokes in it, it was funny because one of the actors he plays, who does he play? Well, he had a really hard time saying most of the lines in the movie, saying the N-word, and he went up to Cleavon Little, who plays Bart in the movie, and he was like, I don't think I can say these words. Cleavon was like, you know what? Somebody else wrote these words. You're not saying them. This is just play. This is acting. I'm okay with it. Now, if you were really calling me this in real life, we'd throw hands, but you know what? It's just playing, and I don't take any offense to it. And I think this is... A lot of people say this is Mel Brooks' best movie. I have to agree with them. This is just done so well, so smart, so funny. Even to this very day, I still laugh my head off over everything in this. Great movie. One that I highly, highly recommend. Another one I highly recommend. This is a great movie. And I looked so long for this movie on DVD that I couldn't find it until I picked up an 8-movie Mel Brooks set. I was so happy to have this one because I'm a big horror fan, as you no doubt are well aware. And one of my favorite horror movies of all time, one of my favorite monster movies, one of my favorite creature features, whatever you want to call it, is Frankenstein. And this one this one is so great on so many levels. Again, it has Gene Wilder, Madeline Kahn. In this and in Blazing Saddles, I loved Madeline Kahn. I'll admit I had a bit of a crush on her, even though she's passed away many years ago. Terry Garr is so gorgeous in this. But another great cast. Mel Brooks, again at his best, young Frankenstein. Now, Young Frankenstein isn't a retelling of the Frankenstein story, quite honestly. I don't want to say it's a sequel, but it's about Victor von Frankenstein's great-grandson, Frederick Frankenstein. He wants to distance himself from the Frankenstein family and everything that happened years previous when his great-grandfather tried making a monster of his own. Or is his grandfather? I think it's his grandfather. I don't remember. I'll have to watch again. Like I need a reason to watch this, honestly. So after he is named executor to the estate of his great-great-grandfather, Baron von Frankenstein, he goes to Transylvania to discover the secrets of his grandfather, Victor, and there finally embraces his Frankenstein roots, making a monster of his own, played by Peter Boyle, which was just excellent casting. This is such a funny movie and such a great send-up of the horror movies of the 20s and 30s. Like I said, Frankenstein is one of my favorite movies in the horror genre. It is just this great movie. And this is so funny when you have Peter Boyle as the monster. You have Marty Feldman, sorry. I'm thinking Marty Freeman from Sherlock. Marty Feldman as Igor. Does he not look the role of Igor? Like, seriously. He has one of my favorite lines in the whole movie. When he's... Oh my god. Frederick and Inga, played by Terry Garr, are down in the laboratory. And they're looking at all these different heads that are rotting and decomposing. And then you have Igor's on the newly decomposed or newly dead. And it's like, I ain't got nobody, and nobody cares for me. Rock-a-ta-ta, rock-a-ta-ta. Igor, Frederick. Marty Feldman was just classic in this movie, and shame he passed away. I wasn't recently, but still, shame he passed away. Anyway, my God, when you look at some of these movies, like Gene Wilder, Marty Feldman, sorry. I keep getting his name wrong. Peter Boyle, Madeline Kahn have all passed away since these movies have been made. It makes you feel kind of sad in a way, but you always have the movies to look back on when you just can't help but laugh. So, Young Frankenstein, another fantastic movie. You should definitely give it a watch. This is one that I heard a lot about, but until I watched it, I didn't realize how funny it was. Not a single word is spoken in this movie, but you have Mel Brooks, you have Dom DeLuise, Marty Feldman, Sid Caesar, just an all-star cast, Bernadette Peters, and you get some of the rising up-and-coming names in Hollywood at that time, like Burt Reynolds and Anne Bancroft and James Caan. This is just a hilarious movie that the first time I watched it, I nearly peed myself laughing, quite honestly, because I love slapstick. That movie is Silent Movie. The tagline to Silent Movie reads, "The only sound you'll hear is laughter," and that's very true. There's only one word spoken in this entire movie, and that's it. From the back of the DVD case, it says, "Only Mel Brooks would tell his laugh-paced tale about a silent movie as a silent movie," with one word of dialogue. Joining him in his outrageous non-stop parade of slight gags are Marty Feldman, Dom DeLuise, Sid Caesar, Harold Gould, Bernadette Peters, and Ron Carey. As the ruthless conglomerate engulf and devour, targets a floundering movie studio, has-been director Mel Funn, played by Mel Brooks, convinces paranoid studio chief Sid Caesar to make a star-studded silent picture. Aided by his sidekicks, Dom DeLuise and Marty Feldman, the devious Funn actually manages to sign some of the biggest names in Hollywood: Paul Newman, Liza Minnelli, Burt Reynolds, Anne Bancroft, and James Caan. Filled with hilarious spoofs of just about everything that happens in Tinseltown, Silent Movie is one of Mel Brooks' funniest, most original films. And yes, that is very true. I couldn't stop laughing from the moment I started watching this one. Because I love the Three Stooges, sight gags like that, I watched somebody getting hit in the face with a rake 1,000 times and laugh hard every time. There's that scene in the Simpsons episode, Cape Fear, when Sideshow Bob is hitched under the the bottom of the car. He gets off and there's a whole bunch of rakes down there and he's just stepping on them. I laugh my ass off every time I see that. And this is the same way. This is a very funny movie with a lot of funny sight gags. And again, you know, Marty Fielman just shines in this movie. He says nothing, but the expression on his face says everything. So this is definitely another Mel Brooks movie you have to check out. This one, as I've said before, I'm a huge fan of horror movies. I'm a huge fan of Alfred Hitchcock movies. So it shouldn't come as any surprise that this one, it's dubbed a psycho comedy for a good reason. This one is called High Anxiety. How many Hitchcock tropes can you throw into one movie? Well, I think Mel Brooks was managed to throw in every one of them. Again, you have another great cast in this one, including Mel Brooks in the lead role. You have Madeline Kahn, again, who looks absolutely stunning as a blonde. I'm just going to say that right now. Cloris Leachman, Harvey Korman. Oh my God, the cast in this is outstanding. As it says in the back of the package here, in this outrageous homage to Hitchcock thrillers, Mel Brooks plays renowned Harvard psychiatrist Dr. Richard Thorndike, a nut job with a paralyzing fear of heights, who's just become head of the Psychoneurotic Institute for the Very, Very Nervous. Mel Brooks for you. After the jittery doc learns that his predecessor died under suspicious circumstances, he looks for help from his resentful associate, played by Harvey Korman, and his evil head nurse, played by Cloris Leachman, who, not surprisingly, offer no help. To make matters worse, events take a murderous turn, and Thorndike is accused of the crime. Co-starring Madeline Kahn, High Anxiety is considered one of Brooks' best. And yes, it really is. As a fan of Alfred Hitchcock movies, this throws everything at you. Like, you have homages to The Birds, Psycho, you have homages to... I'm pretty sure you have... I just said Psycho. The Birds, Psycho. Big train of thought. But yes, you have basically every... Rear Window. You have a lot of great homages to Alfred Hitchcock in here, and it just works so perfectly and is so funny for such serious subject matter, like, honestly and truthfully. It is so well done and so funny, and I think it is one of Mel Brooks' best. I wouldn't be including it in this list if it wasn't. And last but not least, the final Mel Brooks movie you should see before you die is a more recent one. By the 90s, his edge had started going a little bit, but it didn't mean that this movie was not funny. It had a great cast to it. All these have great casts to them, but this one especially. And it took one of the legends that I love, that I hold so dear, just turned it on its head, made it something very funny, and I love this movie. I love the choice that they got too for the lead character in this movie, that being Robin Hood, Men in Tights. So this is basically a comical spin on the legend of Robin Hood, and it has an all-star cast to it. You have Cary Elwes, Richard Lewis, the late Roger Rees, Amy Yasbeck, Dave Chappelle in his first major motion picture role, Isaac Hayes, Tracy Ullman. Just a fantastic cast. And, you know, like I said, I've always been a huge fan of the Robin Hood legend, dating back to the original Disney movie. It was there that I wanted to know more about Robin Hood, about his merry men and all that. And then you had the Kevin Costner Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves movie come out, which you get a very funny line from Cary Elwes in this one, where he talks about how, unlike some Robin Hoods, I can speak with a British accent. Because he tried his hardest, but Kevin Costner could not pull off that British accent in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. I'm getting two movies: Robin Hood, Men of Thieves, Robin Hood, Prince of Tights. But just some great music in this too. You have like the men in tights. We're men in tights. Yes. But this is just a funny movie, and I think Cary Elwes makes a fantastic Robin Hood as well. I've watched this man for a long time, starting from Princess Bride all the way up to the last Saw movie. So I've followed his career pretty close, and I say this is one of his best roles. He was born to be Robin Hood, to be honest and truthful with you. But it's such a fun movie, funny movie, and just, it does to Robin Hood what Blazing Saddles did to westerns. So, and there's a funny Blazing Saddles reference in here too. So, there you go. 5 Mel Brooks movies that you should watch before you die. I recommend all 5 of them. There are other great ones. Honorable mention goes to Spaceballs. That is just a great send-up of the Star Wars franchise. It doesn't make the list because by the time it came out, the Star Wars franchise was kind of, wasn't there anymore because it had a certain shelf life, and then when Spaceballs came out, everybody was on the next new, better thing, so... But Spaceballs is definitely one you should definitely check out as well. But these 5 I recommend highly over everything. Alright, well that'll do it for this episode of High Five. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to give a thumbs up on the video. What is your favorite Mel Brooks movie? Let me know in the comments section down below. Don't forget to share this video anywhere you can. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new here. And if you're already subscribed, don't forget to tap that bell and you'll be notified whenever I upload anything new. Alright, so looking at the next few weeks in advance, this coming Tuesday, brand new episode of Irish Bandit Revolution, where I'm going to start talking about 2 episodes dedicated to Saskatoon Expo. This week I'm going to be talking about my experience at Saskatoon Expo. The week following I'm going to talk about my expectations for Saskatoon Expo 2017. I can't wait! If you can't tell, I'm very excited for this year's Saskatoon Expo. Oh wow, you got Ernie Hudson from the Ghostbuster movies, and from The Crow. You have the original Incredible Hulk, Lou Ferrigno, coming. You have the creator of Darkwing Duck, Tad Stone's coming. You have my voice-over hero, Rob Paulson, is coming. Yes, Rob Paulson. He was the voice of Raphael in the original Ninja Turtle series. He was the voice of Pinky in Pinky and the Brain. He was the voice of Yakko Warner in the Animaniacs. And currently he voices Donatello in the brand new Ninja Turtle series. So I am so excited. And Maurice LaMarche, who played the Brain, is going to be here too. I can't wait. But I'm going to talk about all that in 2 weeks. And then, after that, it's going to be the season finale of Irish Bandit Revolution. I'm going to be reading your comments. I'm going to be talking about what's going on going forward. Big news coming on that front. I'm going to tell you all about that on the season finale of Irish Bandit Revolution 3 weeks from this Tuesday. And then I will be back in 2 weeks with a new episode of High Five, where I'm going to be talking about 5 action movies you should watch before you die. I'm going to go lie down now. I'm the Bandit. Take care, guys, and I'll see you again very, very soon for another High Five.